In the quiet village of Ndem, life moved to a simple rhythm. People farmed the rich red earth, shared what they grew, and gathered every evening under the branches of the great baobab tree to tell stories. Among them lived old Mama Tula, a woman whose voice was as calm as a still river and whose wisdom ran just as deep. Villagers often sought her guidance, but she held no secrets. No magic, potions only, an old calabash that she carried everywhere she went. It was a humble thing, cracked and faded with age, tied together with a rope that was thin and worn. The village children would often whisper and wonder, why did she treasure something so old and broken? One year, the seasons turned against them. The rains, usually so faithful, did not come. The earth grew hard and cracked like old pottery. The crops in the fields wilted under the relentless sun, and a quiet fear began to creep through the village. People started to argue. Their anxiety made their voices sharp. Some said they should abandon their farms and search for greener lands. Others wanted to use the last of their seeds in one desperate attempt, hoping for a miracle. There was no agreement, only rising tension. Finally, the village elders, their faces etched with worry, sent for Mama Tula. She arrived slowly, her steps measured, leaning on her walking stick. Every eye in the village was on her as she walked to the center of the gathering circle. With a deliberate movement, she placed her old, cracked calabash on the ground. A hush fell over the crowd. Inside this calabash, she said, her voice clear and steady, is the wisdom we need to overcome this trial. The villagers leaned forward, their eyes wide with anticipation. What powerful magic did the old woman keep in that battered gourd? Mama Tula slowly untied the worn rope and lifted the lid. But as she turned it over, nothing came out. The calabash was completely empty. A murmur of confusion and disappointment swept through the crowd. Are you mocking our suffering, old woman? One man called out, his voice filled with frustration. Mama Tula simply smiled, a gentle, knowing smile that softened her wrinkled face. No, she replied softly. I am reminding you of something you have forgotten. She pointed to the empty calabash lying in the dust. Wisdom is just like this, she explained. It begins empty. It cannot be found in one person's head or in a single magical object. It only grows when we stop arguing, when we start to listen to one another, and when we put our thoughts together, side by side. When everyone speaks, and everyone listens, the calabash fills. A profound silence washed over the villagers. Her words settled in their hearts, and they looked at each other, truly seeing their neighbors for the first time in weeks. Then, a farmer, his hands calloused from years of work, broke the silence. We could dig a deeper well near the old riverbed, he suggested. There might still be water there. Another person, a woman known for her careful planning, added, and we can save the remaining seeds. We will plant them only when we see the first real clouds gather. A young woman then stood up and said, let's not work on our farms alone. Let's work together, moving from one farm to the next, so no one is left behind or overwhelmed. One by one, ideas started to flow. Hope began to replace despair. The empty calabash, once a symbol of their confusion, was now becoming full not with things you could touch, but with cooperation, ideas, and a shared purpose. The village united. They dug the new well and found water. They carefully saved their seeds and supported each other on the farms. When the rains finally, mercifully arrived, their fields flourished like never before. At the next harvest gathering, Mama Tula once again held up the same old calabash. This, she said, her voice filled with quiet pride, is our reminder. Wisdom does not belong to just one person. It grows when we're least, when we're share, when there's other. From that day forward, whenever a problem faced the people of Ndem, they would place the empty calabash in the middle of their circle. A silent invitation, waiting for their collective wisdom to fill it once again. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel for more stories that inspire and connect us. We'll see you in the next one.